2016. Welcome to our Goldmiind call. Here we are with RX, and so excited to be able to teach you. We do this once a week. You get here by going to goldmiind.com, Goldmiind, and obviously if you're here, then you know how it works. Brenda will be in the background kind of watching over things. Last week, something terrible happened. About halfway through the call stopped recording, so the very first half of the recording was online, and then it went away. It disappeared. So for those of you who wanted a copy of the PowerPoint slides that I was using last week, I encourage you to draw them with your own hand, but if you'd like to see a copy of that, you can always go to the chat where it says Brenda to everybody, Brenda@robertallen.com, to get a copy of the Anticipate slides that were from last week that were not properly recorded for you guys last week. So that's how you can do it. Now, I'm going to quickly go through our content for today. I will. You don't need to be online with your camera if you don't want to be. When we come towards the end of the call, you can open up your camera if you want, or you can leave it just the way you are. You can mute and unmute yourself if you want to. So anyway, welcome to our call, everybody. This is the call for April the 4th. This is the company called RX. This is one of the early visuals we use for RX, and I love this visual because it just shows how our symbol is going all around the world with products that solve people's problems. At the most basic level, when you think about what our company does, when you breathe, it's going to help you with your breath. Why? Because we have a purity product that filters your air and it makes it the purest air that you can breathe. And the air inside your house is much more filthy. The air outside your house, even though you can see pollution out there in the air, it's worse inside your house. So we help with breathing. We help with water, drinking. You're 70% water, so you want to make sure that the water you take into your body is as pure as it can be, and therefore with our purity products you do that as well. The RX company is my favorite company. I'm calling you from my home here in San Diego, California, and this house was built as a result of multiple streams of income. Obviously, I'm the author of many famous books all around the country, all around the world, frankly. These are just the English versions of it, but it's been translated in about 20 languages. When I go to China, people know me. When I go to Japan, people know me. When I go to Russia, people know me, although, I don't have, I haven't marketed my books very aggressively there, but the word spreads. And what these books talk about is how to generate multiple streams of income. And that's what RX does. It's one of my favorite streams of income of all that I have ever done in my life. And as a result of the house where I live in, I'm living in this home because of not only, streams of income from the seminars I do and the books I sell, but also because of network marketing. I was involved in another company for 17 years. When RX got started, I decided to leave, to come to RX. It was a huge gamble on our part. You might have risked, excuse me, maybe $1,000 to join RX. We risked millions of dollars and actually lost millions of dollars by leaving that other company to come here, because that's how much I believe in what this company is all about. I got a chance to be able to speak with you on a regular basis, and to be able to speak to RX members all around the world. And so in one of my books, Multiple Streams of Income, I go into one full chapter on network marketing and how I believe it's the ultimate money machine. I still do. I always have since I first got involved in network marketing back, over 20 years ago now. But I love this industry. I love these people in this company. I love RX. I love the leaders of RX. I love the products of RX. I've made good money in multiple ways. As I said, I've made money in real estate. I made money marketing books and seminars. I've made money online on the internet. And that far right one is a real symbol for network marketing, how we share a product with people. And it requires that we do talk to people. that we do share our passion for what these products have done in our own life. So that's where it all starts. That's where the beginning of it is. A lot of famous people have endorsed network marketing. I'm just a little guy amongst the biggies out there that have endorsed network marketing. But, Warren Buffett is a fan. He owns his own network marketing company called Pampered Chef, and they sell kitchen utensils. Back to the products that Warren Buffett has sold and made his billions on. Excuse me, a little tickle in my throat. He's made his billions by marketing products in the basic arena of consumable products that create permanent customers. And I'm going to be sending an email to everybody in RX in the next week talking about why I love his theory of why he's a billionaire, because the products or the companies he buys are only companies that sell products that have recurring customers, that have customers that are permanent. If you sell a car, then you got a lot of other car choices. And the car lasts for 5-10 years, and then you have to go buy another one. Warren Buffett is not going to buy a car company. He's only going to buy a company that people consume the products on a regular basis, such as Coca-Cola. He owns big chunks of Coca-Cola. Why? Because he wants companies that have addicted customers with permanent customer bases. And so he knows that people are going to get up this morning and they're going to drink billions of cans of Coke today. And he says, I want a part of that company. Now, obviously our presidential candidate, whether you love him or hate him, he's a big fan of network marketing as well, for the very same reasons, because you want to have customers that are permanent. Back to Warren Buffett, Coca-Cola, American Express, Wells Fargo Bank, Gillette shavers, products that people use every day, and they become addicted. They're not, the people who use Gillette are not tempted to go buy Schick. They're Gillette people. That's just who they are. And therefore, Warren Buffett said, I want to own a company or parts of the companies that market products like that. That's why he bought a network marketing company, because people eat every day. It's a product that people use every single day, and they need new products like that every single week, every single month. And therefore, his network marketing company markets products like that using the vehicle of network marketing or the party plan in direct sales. And therefore, you have joined an industry that is smart. You've done the right smart thing. Now, you've got to learn how to market for people. That's where the first step is. You have to make a decision. You're going to become gold or silver. If you're gold, that means you did it in the first 8 weeks in RX. If you're silver, that means you did it in 8 weeks or after that. Bottom line is, you need to be gold or silver. You need 4 customers. And so what this call today and this call every week is going to repeat, this same theory. You don't have to watch this call every week once you've learned the 4 principles I'm going to be teaching you. Then I want you to go teach them to other people, right? So you go online to goldmiind.com. You click on that link every Monday. You can invite people to join here. You can show them where to go, goldmiind.com. They click on that. This is like you did today. Or you can go to, this is how you get here. And it's easy to do. When you scroll down on this page, by the way, there are tabs along the top that give you certain downloads that I want you to have. The Dream Machine tab gives you a document about commitment that I think I'd love all of you to memorize. The second tab called Your Hero's Journey has another document I want you to have, plus the full-length digital version of the Think and Grow Rich book. It's yours. I give it to you. This is the 1937 edition. Therefore, it's in the public domain. That's why I can give it to you. And it's the book itself, written from the 1937 position when they were going through a depression. So when you read it in the original version, not the one you might have read more recently, you get to feel what it was like to go through the Great Depression, and now we've gone through the Great Recession. you can understand why the Think and Grow Rich book and its 13 principles of persuasion and wealth are the principles you need to understand. Well, the principles are timeless. I'm going to be boiling down my version of it into just 4 fundamental principles I want you to know. And if you learn just these 4, it's all I believe you really need. But the book Think and Grow Rich is awesome. The secret power and the tab there, getting it done. They all have various different downloads that you can go review if you want to. If you miss this call, you can always scroll down, and there is going to be a version of the screen I'm shooting right here this very moment. Is going to be uploaded within a couple hours after we're done, and it'll be put right here for you to watch again or to send people to again if you want to. When you scroll down at the very bottom, you see our brands. We have 6 powerful brands. Now, I'm going to challenge you. If you really want to make RX work for you, if you really want to build it and grow it and build multiple streams of residual income so you can retire and do what you want to do, you need to be a fan of those 6 products, those 6 brands. You need to have a product brand story that's personal to you. You need to have a story about Nutrify, taking the products and what it did for you. You need to have a story about Slenderix. Now, if you don't need to be in Slenderix if you don't have weight to lose, but I had weight to lose, and therefore I made my story. And I lost 40 pounds on this product. And therefore, when somebody asks me, have you lost your weight, Bob? I just say, would you like to know the secret? That's my question. I lean a little bit in closer and I go, would you like to know the secret? What am I going to tell them? I'm going to say, I take 2 droppers before I eat, and I put them under my tongue. Do you want to know the secret? The secret is it automatically burns fat. It sends a signal to your fat burning center, and the weight starts to fall off. And that second set of drops takes my appetite away. I'm not interested in eating any longer. And it works. And at this point, almost every person I talk to, because they come up to me and ask me what I've done, they say, how can I get some of those drops? And I'll say, let's get together, and I'll share that with you. So I've got my own story. When it comes to the Purity water bottle, yeah, I carry that with me wherever I go. When it comes to Revive, I showered with that this morning. Did you? This hair is revived. My body wash, toothpaste, I used that this morning. Did you? I'm going to have you have your own story where you can talk about it. Prime, it's right in my bathroom. I push that little button on there, and I smell that. I take the product every single day. The Jovet product today, on my face. I'm putting on the Jovet product today. Why? Because I'm a CEO in RX. Before I was a CEO, though, I was a product user getting a story. If you don't have a story about any one of those products, then borrow somebody else's story. You can borrow my story if you want to. Borrow a story until you can have your own story to tell. By the way, if you missed today's call and you've already watched last week's, you can go to the little circle down there, the video archives at the bottom, and that will give you access to all the videos we've done since it began in January. And so this is where we are. This will show this was the call that happened 2 weeks ago, and you can watch that one if you want to. You'll find much of the same conversation I'm sharing with you now, because we have new people joining on. We have new people bringing their friends on. So some of this content will be very familiar to you. This is the poem that comes off of the conversation we're going to have about today, "The Road Not Taken," which is by Robert Frost, and I encourage you to memorize it. 2 roads diverge to the yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. I know it. I want you to know it, but I want you to feel it. Why? I want you to know that you are at a crossroads every day. And every day is going to take you to the lifestyle of your dreams, or it's going to continue the lifestyle that you're living. And you're going to wake up 5 years from today. Hopefully, I hope I will. I certainly want to wake up somewhere And I'm either going to be living my dream or I'm going to be stuck in the same old life. And every day we get to make that decision. And I make the decision that Arts is the path that'll take you where you really want to go. And you're going to share this with 4 people in the first 8 weeks at the hardest time to share, a time when you don't have a testimony about this product, about these products, because maybe you haven't learned it yet. Maybe you haven't tried all the 6 of those brands to get your own personal testimonial. At a time when you are not comfortable talking to people, sharing an industry that is not respected by many people, and yet it's the best. If the smartest, sharpest billionaire mind can think this is a great industry, I'm going to join with the billionaire minds, not with the thousandaire minds. And most of the thousandaire minds are the people around you who tell you they don't like network marketing. You don't listen to them. You tell them, thank you very much for your information. I appreciate you're telling me to kill my dream. Thank you very much for trying to kill my dream. You would never say it that bluntly, but that's exactly what they're doing. Thank you for killing my dream. You're not going to kill it because I have a dream. And 5 years from today, I'm going to live that dream or earlier. And you're going to talk to people in your warm market, people who are at the very center of your life, your friends, your family, your associates, people know you. You're going to talk to people that you bump into on a daily basis or that are what I call your warm market, people you meet, you shake their hand, you warm them up, and you're going to talk to people who are in your cold market. And what is cold marketing? It is advertising. It is spending money to attract somebody, raises their hands, tell them to come on in and check out your product. This is where most people want to go first. They want to go spend money on advertising, which is, I think, the worst thing you can do when you're starting a network marketing business. Eventually, do you want to go there? Yes, absolutely. You want to do all 3. But in a very short 8 weeks you have to roll your 4 people, you're probably not going to have time to figure out the marketing part. You're just going to have to go talk to people you know, and you're going to tell them to have a 3-way call with your upline, somebody else who knows what they're doing, and you're going to introduce them to these products. And yeah, it's going to be hard, and yeah, it'll be difficult. And that's when you see somebody who's gold, you go, right on, brother, right on, sister. That was awesome. Congratulations. That was hard. But it's something we all do, right? And then we start to enroll people a slower way. You can always do it the fast way by doing marketing, but the slow way is you just have to be passionate about these products. Can you tell that I'm passionate about it? You don't have to be me, by the way. I might be too pushy or too, exuberant for you. You just have to be who you are and be passionate about these products and share them with people. This is the version in China. And so when I'm in China, I'm going to show my picture. I'm going to have a before and after picture. I'm proud of that. It was hard to get that, and I'm still working on it, right? When I took the Jovet product myself, I wanted a Jovet before and after picture. So, this is my before picture, and this is my after picture 2 minutes later. And look at that forehead. It's just shocking how good that is. 2 minutes later, the same forehead, same location, with just a little bit of the Jovet skin tightener. So you can tell I am passionate about this product. And I didn't used to be until I started taking my before and after pictures of my own face, and I began to realize I'm a pretty wrinkly buzzard. I got to do something about this. I thought I would just age gracefully, but I'm not aging gracefully. So I try to do something about it. When I was doing a seminar in Japan, a month or so ago, 2 months ago, some fellow sitting on the front row. He was exactly my age. I said, let's try it on you. And immediately he said, sure, let's try it. And this is the shot 2 minutes later. And can you see the difference? It's just, can you see those wrinkles? It's just amazing. what this product does. So I want you to be passionate about the products and get your own success story, your own testimonial. And then as you do it a little more slowly, you're going to be teaching 4 skills. I call them the 4 maps. I want to teach you 4 maps. These 4 maps are going to change your life. And they're going to change the life of the people you know. Now this map right here looks a little complicated because it's all filled in. This is the clarity map. But the clarity map starts off very simply with just 2, a smiley face and a frowny face. This map is how you tap into a person's emotions. And you cannot sell anything without tapping into somebody's emotions, period. And that's why most people can't sell network marketing. Their own emotions are not yet congruent about the industry they're in, so they don't feel good about it. And if you don't feel good about something, you can't sell it. If you don't feel good about the product because you think they're too expensive, you can't sell it because it comes from your feeling. You have to feel that these are the best products, the best industry, the best way for you to achieve financial freedom, so you're not telling a lie. Because if you're lying, no wonder they're not signing up. You can't lie. They're going to pick it off of your body. They're going to sense every word you say. You can be uncomfortable. That's okay. You can even tell them you're uncomfortable, and that's not a lie. That's the truth. And therefore, you're telling the truth. If they say, if this is network marketing, what's your answer to them? If you say, well, yeah, but you know, our company is a lot better than those other companies, you know? How is that for a sales pitch? When somebody asks you if this is network marketing, this is your answer. Absolutely. If you don't believe that yourself, then go believe it. Go figure it out. Go talk to somebody that's in the industry, and you're talking to me as forgive me, I've helped thousands of people become millionaires in this country, all over the world, through my books. And I've helped, I've created so many fortunes for so many people. Why do you think I'm spending time with you on this call today, right now? First of all, I love this company. Second of all, I love this industry, and nobody can talk me out of it because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've experienced it with my own experiences. I've watched people who were nothing, had nothing, and watched them grow as human beings and become successful and wealthy. I've watched it with my own eyes. Yeah, I've seen lots of people not make it in this industry because they let somebody steal their dream. And I feel sad for them because where are they going to go? Go back to their job? This is smart. Going to go start their own business? Well, what's that going to cost? To start your own traditional business is going to cost you 50 grand. And 90% of those are going to fail. So pretty much $45,000 is going to get lost by the average person starting a brand new business when they can start RX for a couple of $100. And if they fail at that, so what? If they fail, they just eat their products up and then they don't sell RX anymore. The risk is so low, the product's value is so high. Yeah, but you got to talk to negative people. That's the cost of this business. And some people are not going to like you when you tell them that you have a dream. And you're going to say, well, what's your choice? How are you going to get there? What's the vehicle you're choosing? You're going to work at a job for 50 years, a job you don't like, and end up with half salary, with Social Security. That's your plan? No, I have another plan. And I'm going to find 4 customers in the next 8 weeks. Do you want to be one or don't you? I'll personally guarantee the product. If I were you, I'd personally guarantee it. Now, these maps are simply ways of talking to people about their dreams. So this gal here in Japan, we sat down with the person who brought her, her sponsor. I was there just to help, to kind of share. And we drew a little map like this, and we basically showed her dream, and she signed it with her name down there at the bottom. And now this became a permanent memory for her. She now knew what she wanted. She knew what she didn't want. She knew why she wanted it. She knew where she wanted to be. And it's very motivating for her. Now, we're not going to do that today. We did that a couple of weeks ago, and when I rotate around this in May, I'll do it again. But the bottom line is the very first skill, or very first map, is what I call the clarity map, and getting a person clear on what they want. The second map we talked about last week, and unfortunately, half of it was cut off from the recording. So these maps, there were about 7 or 8 minor maps between. If you want a copy of these, you can send an email to Brenda@robertallen.com, and she'll send them to you, okay? Today, we're going to talk about the ritual map and why that is important, and why you should be having a certain ritual that you do as well. And then finally, next week, we're going to talk about the task. Well, I spelled that wrong. Task, T-A-S-K map, the task map, and how you organize your life so you fit RX into your life. You don't have a half an hour a day, an hour a day. It's hard. It's hard to find that kind of time. I'm going to show you how to find that kind of time, not only for RX, but anything else you want. I'll teach you how to be organized, how to simplify it. I'll teach you how to throw away your to-do list. It's one of the worst time management tools you can use, a to-do list. Now, it all starts off with a blank piece of paper like this. And I want you to take a blank piece of paper out right now yourself. And I want you to write a frowning face in the bottom left-hand corner and a smiley face in the top right-hand corner. And I'll wait while everybody gets a piece of paper out. And I want to see you draw those two very simple diagrams. The little frowny face and the smiley face, okay? Good. Get out any kind of blank piece of paper that's around you. Doesn't matter what it is. Open up a cover of a book, an inside blank page of a book you've got on your desk. Turn it sideways so it's portrait style. Sorry, landscape style. Sideways, wider than taller. In the bottom left-hand corner, I want you to write a frowny face. And the top right-hand corner, I want you to write a smiley face. And this is your life. And this is the bottom left-hand corner is where most people are. I see you doing it. Excellent. And around that frowny face, I want you to draw a box. Like that. Now this is the third map. So this will be you would have, if you'd been training with us, you would have learned about the other maps. This is the third map. And we've talked about before, why are people in a box? Usually people are surrounded by fear. And these fears really kill people. What are the fears that you notice in your own life? I'd like you to label what each one of those walls would represent in your life. If you could break through that wall and escape the prison that holds you back in the limiting beliefs that we have, how would you break down one of those walls? You got to know what the wall is. So maybe it's a fear of rejection. Maybe it's a fear of maybe it's a limiting belief of some sort. Maybe it's something that holds you back. Maybe it's a fear of being involved in a network marketing company. Maybe it's a fear of your own having your own limiting a lower self-esteem, or you've been beat up before, or maybe you had a challenge in your life, an emotional challenge that's really hurt, and you're still hurting over it. And some of these things can put a prison that keeps you locked in there for the rest of your life, and that's unfortunate. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to unplug my camera and plug it back in again. So I'm going to come back out live again. Okay. Well, I think we're still recording. Yeah, we're still recording. Whew. Okay. Back to our screen share. This is the what I call the ritual map. And everyone who's successful has a ritual. They are in a groove. It's a pattern they do every day. It's the muscles that they are exercising every day, the mental muscles and the physical muscles. It's the muscles of their will. It's their workout. It's their warm-up for getting ready for a tough day. And everybody that is really successful, they'll tell you, if you ask them, what is your ritual? They may not understand it by that word. For instance, if you ask Jack Canfield, the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, he calls it his power hour. And so he has an hour, and he spends 25 minutes, 20 minutes in each of three areas. He does it his spiritual growth, he does it in his intellectual growth, he does it in his exercise, and he calls it his power hour. And every day, that's what he does. Mine takes a little longer than that, but the bottom line is I had a ritual this morning when I got up, and it's the same every single day when I get up. Why? Because I am working on my will. I am the willpower is the most powerful power there is. If you have willpower, you can have anything you want. And if you don't have willpower, you can't. And therefore, my ritual is about building the willpower so that I can face tough things throughout the day, so I can do the hard things that need to get done. And therefore, it's a spiritual practice, it's a mental practice, it's a physical practice that I do. And it's based upon the concept of compound interest. So I want you, as you look at this chart, this map, I want you to draw the map up in the top right-hand corner. You would have been used to doing this from the previous couple of weeks, but if you don't, I want you to draw that smiley face and put it in a house. And then the symbols of an ideal lifestyle. The symbol on the left-hand side of the face is the heart. And you want to have more love in your life? Do you want to have more spiritual power in your life? That's the heart. Do you want to have more money in your life? And is that part of your ideal dream? I hope so. Do you want to have more health? And that's the stick figure. And just draw a little stick figure, just like that. A kindergartner can do this. I wanted to make it so simple that any child could do this. And what Einstein said, he said, if you can't teach your concept to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. This is the 6-year-old version. And what's powerful about this map is that when you teach it to yourself, because you're the first person to teach, and you teach it to somebody else, it drives that lesson deeper into you. And then you become more successful because you are doing it, right? So I want your dream. This is not my want. I'm imagining that you want the basic things that most people want in an ideal lifestyle: more love, more time. That's what that clock is. More health, and more money, and all those in their proper order, in their proper balance. So that when you arrive at your dream lifestyle, no longer than 5 years from now, you wake up in your dream home living the lifestyle you designed because you created it. And how do you create it? Well, on this chart, you see the low, slow growth of the compound interest chart. And that is what compound interest is all about. It's a daily compounding of yourself. That's what you're doing, compounding yourself every day. And what do you do when you compound yourself? You know? Well, the parable, and there's a story that you've all heard many times about the ant and the grasshopper. The ant every day is doing what? And the grasshopper every day is doing what? The ant is gathering and preparing for the future, and then eating for today, but is gathering every day. The grasshopper is consuming everything all day long and not saving anything for winter. When the winter comes, the grasshopper starves to death, and the ant is as abundant as an ant can be. And what I'm going to challenge you is to make the decision that you are the ant, and that every day you're going to put away a store towards your future. That means every day you're going to build your will. You're going to work on yourself. You're going to build your personal growth. You're going to become a better person by doing what I call the big rocks first. And this is so what I want you to do is to draw the ant in the bottom left-hand corner where the compound interest chart is, realizing that compound interest, let's go back to that just a minute. Compound interest is daily deposits at an interest rate that causes your daily deposits to grow. So if you were to deposit $1 a day into your bank account on the day you were born, suppose your grandparents set up a trust fund for you, and it put $1 a day into your bank account until you were 66 years old. How many dollars would there be in your bank account? About 25,000, right? Let's see if I can. I'm going to let's go with the whiteboard. Let's draw that. Let's see if you can see that. So in the text version, you put $1 a day in, you end up with about $25,000 at the end of one lifetime at 0% interest. If you want to have it at 3% interest, it'd grow to about $75,000. Still not very much. Let me do it the other way. I think I'm going to copy it the other way. Hold on a second. Let's do it this way. If you were to make it, and that's at 3%. If you were to make your money grow at 5% interest, $1 a day, could you do that? Your money would grow into about $200,000 at 5%. Now you're saying, well, where do you get 5% these days? Well, you find a good piece of real estate and you buy it on leverage. Careful with leverage because that can kill, as we know. But you can make 100% on your money on a piece of real estate. It happens every single day. There are a lot of ways of doing that. Is what I'm trying to say. Is don't tell me you can't make money out of the bank. There are other ways of doing it. If you put your money at 10% interest, your money is going to grow to $2.75 million. What? Yeah, $1 a day grows into $2,750,000 in a lifetime. What's happening is the interest is being added on to the interest of being added on to the $1 a day. Is being added on to the interest of being added on to the interest, and eventually the interest starts growing faster than the dollar that's growing. And pretty soon you have something that may take you 40 years until you start having this compounding growth really started to go exponential. But if you get it to grow at 15% interest, it grows into $50 million at 15% interest. And you say, well, how do I make 15%? Well, you get yourself an RX business that is growing by itself. You think that's exponential growth? Oh my gosh. If you put your money in at at 20% interest, it grows into $1 billion. Do you want to know why Warren Buffett is a billionaire? Because his annual average rate of growth over the past 50 years has been about 20% per year. That's why he's a billionaire. Because he takes the little money he had and he said, I just got to make it grow to 20%. And then that money got to make that grow to 20%. You know, and that's why he's a billionaire today. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not $1 million. That's $1 billion. In other words, $1 a day at 20% growth becomes $1 billion in your lifetime. If you're not a billionaire by now, I'll tell you why not. Because your grandparents didn't put in money in a bank for you when you were born and make it grow at 20%. What I'm trying to teach by this principle, and I'm giving you the number so you can copy it down, or take your camera out and just take a photocopy of that, is that compound interest is a profoundly powerful concept. And when you compound yourself every day, it makes you powerful. And how do you compound yourself every day is the question that I'm sure you're probably asking, you know. And the bottom line is you have to have a ritual to be able to fit it into your life so that it actually works that way. So back to our ritual. Hold on a second. Sharing my screen. Hope you can see it. This compound interest chart, I want you to draw it for yourself. But when you teach a member of your downline, to teach them the profound necessity for building and growing on your own self every day, by teaching them the compound interest, you're going to learn it yourself better. I myself have taught what I just taught you maybe 1,000 times. First of all, I did the research on it myself. I wrote it in my book, Multiple Streams of Income, and then I've taught it all around the world. And it now becomes part of who I am. I realize the power of compound interest. So the compounding of yourself means your ritual is something you do every day. And what is that? Well, it's the stuff to grow yourself every day. You don't just get up in the morning, go have breakfast, run off to work, come back home, watch some TV. Does that grow your life? No, it doesn't. It extends your day life by a day, but you could be better by having a ritual. Deepak Chopra, he's not of my personal spiritual belief, but a friend. We know each other. We're flying back from Cabo, San Lucas. I remember it was about 7-8 years ago. I'm saying to him, he's in the first class right across from me, and I go, Deepak, tell me, what's your ritual? I didn't say it that way. I said, what's your regimen? What do you do every day? You know, how do you prepare yourself? He writes, 4 or 5 books a year. I write usually 1 book every 5 years. It's hard to write a book. And he writes, like he was sitting in first class writing a book on his iPhone. And I said, what's your ritual? How does he get the clarity of mind and the will and the determination to do what he does? And his answer to me was, he says, well, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I meditate for 2 hours. And when he tells me that, what do I say to myself? Where do you find 2 hours to do that? And his answer is, when you're asleep. I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning doing what you don't do, doing what maybe you can't do, or you certainly don't want to do. And I don't do that. I get up at 6. And I usually go through, an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours worth of all of the things that I do. It takes me about 2 hours to get through it. But at the end of that 2 hours, I'm ready for the day. I'm warmed up. Don't get in my way, brother, sister. I'm ready. I'm ready for it, whatever it takes. But most people don't do that, and therefore they end up not succeeding that day because they try to do something, they want to do something, they want to break out of their walls of fear. And they can't. And the ritual's purpose is to get you out of those walls, to get you on the other side of the wall, and to get you on the ant path that day. So at least something that day builds towards your ultimate lifestyle, right? So Covey, my mentor, used to teach this story of the big rocks, and it's found in his book, First Things First. I learned it there, and it changed my life. It didn't change my life until after I was almost dead. But after I was almost dead, well, maybe I won't be that strong. Let's put it this way. As soon as I heard this, I began to, gosh, it was after my car accident. Yeah, it was after 2003. So, yep, it was after I was almost dead. And I remembered this story when I came out of my car accident, almost dead. And I began to ask myself the question, the story, the big rocks kept coming back to me about the professor who took out these rocks out of this jar full of rocks. You've heard it before. It's an old story. And inside the glass jar is filled with all these rocks. And he says to the students, is this jar full? And they said, yeah, it's full of rocks. And he says, well, and he takes out another jar filled with pebbles. He pours the pebbles over the big rocks until they finally sift into filling up the jar. And he says, is this jar full? And they go, I don't think so. And he says, you're right. He takes out a jar of sand. He pours the sand in until it fills up. Is this jar full? No. He takes out a jar of water. He pours the water over the rocks and the sand and the pebbles until it overflows. Yeah, obviously it's full now. And he says, what's the lesson? This is a story you can tell to anybody. And one kid says, you can always get some more stuff in there. And he said, no, that's not the lesson. The lesson is if you don't put the big rocks in first, you can't get them in. And when I woke up from my coma, medically induced coma, I began to ask myself that question. Had I put in the big rocks first? Is exercise important to me? Had I put it in my jar? Are my spiritual values important to me? Yeah. Did you put the big rock in first? No. Is your spouse, is your wife, is she important to you? Are your kids, are they important to you? Well, yeah, of course. Did they go in the jar first? Because if they don't go in the jar first, more than likely, the whole day will go by and they won't get in the jar. And it was a profound, life-changing moment for me. And I said to myself, my spiritual values are really, really important to me. Then when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to immediately go and I'm going to read some sacred words that are important to me. Words that have been written by wiser men and women than me from ancient history, words of profound wisdom and depth and growth. This morning, I read Chronicles. This was in the Old Testament. And if you're from the Jewish faith, then they are in the Testament. Christians call it the Old Testament, the New Testament. But I read in the Old Testament, and this is my 3-month period of time to read that. I read from 2 Chronicles 17 to Chronicles 30. I think there's 35. I read to the end of that book. Yeah, it took me about half hour. I began to realize about the mistakes that a lot of other civilizations have made, and it centered me. It centered me, and then I got a chance to do, some connection with my higher power. These are personal things to me, and I don't want to offend or affect anybody else's personal beliefs about that. But I've decided these are big rocks to me, and therefore they're going to go in my day first. Period. And they do. They do every day. I'm gonna ask you to just decide what the big rocks are for you. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's writing in a journal. Whatever. I'm going to ask you to decide what your ritual is. Beethoven had a ritual. Well, he wrote great music, yes. But do you know what his ritual was? But yeah, he got up at 6 o'clock every morning and he immediately started to write music. And he wrote for 3 or 4 hours every single morning, starting at 6. Ernest Hemingway, exact same thing. 6 o'clock, he was up writing every single morning. He says, you got to bite on the nail every day. And that's what he did. This is how he created good stuff. Now, they also had other parts of the ritual. For them, their work was the first thing they did. Therefore, they put that big rock in there first. Beethoven went for a long walk in the afternoon. A 2 or 3 hour walk through his city. So did the guy who wrote The Christmas Carol, Dickens. Same thing. They all had a ritual, and it was like, that's what they did every day. And it was why they got so much done, is because they did other things that made them strong enough to do the great things they were destined to do. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to challenge you to have a ritual. Decide what it is. What is your ritual? For me, it usually boils down to 3 things, and everybody I talk to, they'll say, well, I've got some spiritual stuff, or I've got some, meditation stuff, some, centering stuff, and I got some brain stuff, and I got some body stuff. And I think as a general way of teaching this, I'll say this is what I would recommend you do. But remember, it's not my life. It's your life. So you decide what the big rocks are for you. And I'm going to challenge you to do something that seems like making more work for you. You say, well, I'm already having a hard enough time as it is to go spend 30 minutes to try to enroll somebody in ARCS. And what I'm going to tell you is maybe the reason it's so hard to enroll people in ARCS is because you're not a centered person. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it might be because that there is some deeper grounding stuff that will make you not only good in ARCS, but it will spread into every single area of your life. And therefore, part of what I do is my being stuff, and I've shared with you the prayers that I do and the scripture reading that I do and the journal writing I do, and then I write down the downloads that I get. I call them downloads. When I feel as if it's a spiritual connection, a spiritual message, I write it down and I try to do that first. Then my brain stuff is usually, brain stuff is third for me. It's body stuff is second. I immediately come down to my treadmill in here. I didn't do it this morning because I had a call with Asia at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I normally would have been on my treadmill this morning. And I still have to fit that in, but there's my treadmill in the room right next door, and I'm on that treadmill for 33 minutes and 33 seconds. This is my ritual. Or 37 minutes and 37 seconds. Or 44 minutes and 44 seconds. And it's one of those 3 every single time that I get on that treadmill. And then I try to do some stretches, and I got to work on this roll that's still got to come off. So I've got some body work to do. But in the body work, I'm working not just my body, I'm working my brain. I'm thinking about my plan for that day. I'm ticking off the visualization for that day. I'm turning on my brain and writing down thoughts as they come to me, because as the endorphins float around my brain, I finally learned that I don't exercise for my body, I exercise for my brain, for my mind. Because when I exercise, it shoots off these ahas and these brilliant thoughts. At least they sound brilliant at the time until I listen to them later, but I record those. Anyway, this is my ritual, and it's because that's how I get a lot done. It's not to make me busier. It's to make what I do more effective. And next week I'll teach you how you get so much done with so little time, so that you have time to have a powerful ritual, so that you are better every day, so your compound interest is growing every single day. Now, this simple map took us a little while to build it. Started off here, and then it grew to this, and this groove to grow. We want to be in the groove. The groove is so that every day we don't even think about our ritual. We're in a groove. This morning when I got up, I went immediately, after I visited the restroom, I went immediately to a chair in my closet. And I know that's where I go. It's a groove. I don't even think about doing anything else. I don't think about reading a newspaper. I don't think about, no, that's not the big rock. I go right to that chair. And I know what'll happen in that chair. And it's a pattern that's absolutely solid. Yours doesn't have to start in the morning. Beethoven's didn't start in the morning. His ritual was in the afternoon when he went for a long walk. That's when he did his thinking and his creating, his creative time and his imagining and his right brain stuff. But find a time that works for you and then commit to it. And I'm not perfect at it. I don't do it perfectly every day. I didn't do it perfectly today. My perfect ritual where I do all three things, in great depth, where I go into the kitchen and I make my shake and, I take my nutritionals and then I get in my shower and I use my products. All that's part of my ritual. It's just what I do. I'm going to challenge you to pick out your ritual and decide what it will be. And then notice what happens when you do. This combining of these three B's, in that center, you see the three spots between the three B's? There's that little center connection where all three of them are connected. That very center is what happens. You have this little extra willpower. It's like a drop of power that you squeeze out of each of those B's. The pollen, I guess we call them the B's. And a little drop of it goes into that center spot. And it becomes so, your willpower gets to be so strong that you are able to do things you didn't think you were able to do before. This visual right here, if you want to, you can take a photo of that. It just gives you a way you can write down what are 2 or 3 things that you would do when it comes to being things, brain things, or body things. And then finally, at the end of my day, at the beginning of my day, I write down a chart that shows my 4 maps, and I do my 4 maps every day. So let me just show you what that looks like. Okay. So that's what I did yesterday, and it takes me 5 or 6 minutes.
Can you show that on the bigger screen, Bob?
Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's
share your screen and then hold it up.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Great. Thanks.
Is that better? There we go. Okay. Can you see it there, Brenda?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, I'm trying to get it so it's straight. There we go. Now, it looks pretty complicated, because there are all these little lines and charts and things that you say, holy smokes, I can't imagine myself doing that every day. Yet, this is brain stuff. And what the bottom line is, we only have 1 minute left on our call today because I have to be on another call at 5. Number one, I ask myself, what do I really want today? That's that one. That's the first chart. It's clarity. It's the clarity map. Second, I ask myself, what the problems I'm going to be facing today? What are the challenges I'm going to have, and am I ready for them? That's the anticipation map. Then the ritual map is, what did I do today to make sure I have the willpower to do this? That's the ritual map. And then finally, there's the task map. I got to get things done today because it's going to be a busy day. What's not important to get done today? And what is important? And just asking those 4 questions. Did you see how easy that was for me? Then I can draw out my ritual maps, and it takes me just a couple of minutes. Now, I'm going now to a group that are going to be joining with me to edit the book called The 4 Maps that is going to be released and given to all of you. So you will all receive this as a gift as being part of ARCS. But the book will be released on my birthday, May the 20th, and you'll all get a copy of it. It'll have all these maps in it and how to do it and how to build it and how to grow it. But every week I teach you a part of it throughout our RX calls. Hope this is valuable to you, helpful to you, and unfortunately I got to run. This call will be uploaded so you can watch it again if you want to. And if not, I'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Sorry, I wish we had more time for conversation, but we don't. Got to run. See ya. Bye.